video I will take you through how you can just use your what most people call as waist leather to replace your wristwatch straps. You can see now we have a very like damaged, worn out strap. So first what you do is that you remove the old strap. You remove it from the, so you keep this safe. So then you make sure you dismantle everything one by one, then you make sure you keep them safe. And if you actually think you want to change everything completely, you would only walk into any store to buy new pins for your new wristwatch. So you can see, so what I'll be doing now is I'll be keeping all these that I removed, I'll be keeping them safe. So now in this class I already have my own template that I use for different sizes of leather wristwatch strap. I have them in different sizes. This is the size 16 to 18, this is the size 20 to 18, and then another smaller size is the size 12 to 14. So now I will be going with this size 20 to 18. So I'll come with my top leather. This is the new leather I'll be using to replace it. All what I just have to do is I'll bring this on it, then I'm going to trace it out. In other videos I'll be taking you through classes of how to cut out these shapes, even though when you don't have this ready-made template, I'll be teaching you how to cut it so that you can just cut them on artboards and keep them as your own template. And this is for the other side of it. I will be doing the same thing. So this is it. And if you think to make it straight, even without drawing it out, you can just cut on it like what I will do now. You can see this. And for the other part, once you cut on your leather and you notice it's not coming out immediately, what you just do is that it's possible that particular side is blocked a little bit, so you just have to cut it off. I'm sure you see that it's going to cut differently now. You can see, and it's better for you anytime you are cutting. You should make sure your knife or your blade or any of your cutting tools as sharp as possible, so that you don't have issues with the edges of what you're cutting. So you can see it's such a simple trick that makes it so easy to replace the straps of your watch. You can see I'm just dressing up with my scissors. So I have the one strap, then I'll go for the other one. We tried cutting it out the other time, but our cutting knife was not that sharp, so we're not having a perfect cutout. So now we have a perfect cutout. And if you don't have all this my template, what you can just simply do is that you just dismantle this your old one, you draw it out first on a paper, you try and shaping it very well neatly, then it serves as a template for you to cut the new leather. With that, you don't even need to waste your time on getting leather template or anything. It works perfectly the same way. So now you can see I'm trying to cross check. So if I will need a little bit of dressing, so let's just say we need a little bit of dressing. So I'm actually making the dressing on both sides so as to have a perfect shape. If you take out the dressing on just one side, you have a probability to deform the shape of the strap. So now you can see, like I said earlier, if you are using your old strap as a template, you will definitely put the generated templates on it to make sure it's the same thing, so that it won't have issues entering the buckle. So after this trimming of the edges now, what you will do now is that you would get your lining, so that it's going to make it thicker. So we are going to lay it to it. And as I said, anytime you are making use of leather, make sure the side that you will be extending every time is the side that doesn't stretch, because every leather has a stretching side and a non-stretching side. So now, because of the strap, which is the longest side, we'll be using the sides that are not stretching. So what I do now is that I'm going to place this on it. But before I place it on it, there are some parts of it that you will make sure that your lining doesn't get to. So that is why most times I will do a in marking for it. But the first thing you do is that you draw this out. You draw this out exactly. This is for the first strap. Then you draw the other strap to out. That's why I said I'm drawing the inside. So now you come back to the template of it. So there are marks on it, and if you are also using your existing straps as templates, you will see where they folded it initially. So now I'm marking out the folding parts. Those are the parts. So what I will do now is that I'm joining it. What this means is that when you're cutting out your lining, you make it smaller than the main part. So you can see I'm only going to put lining on some part of it, and the folding parts won't have the lining. That's for the first one. And don't forget that on the sides I'm putting allowance that would later be trimmed out. So now this is what I'm trying to achieve. As you can see the lining, it's not getting to the top part of it, so that by the time you are folding it like this, it won't be too thick. That is just the essence. So for the other part too, you can see you just have your lining in between the two. So by the time you are folding down like this, it won't be obvious. Then again, you will be folding down like this. So I'm sure you now understand what I'm saying. So now you can see me, I'm marking out the folded points. So I'll apply the gum. That's for the folding points. So you leave to dry for a while. So now you can see after the gum dries a bit, that is for the strap without the buckle. So what I'm going to do is that I will come back to my template and find the folding point, which is actually here. So what you do is that you just fold it out, and you can see, so this is just a temporary gumming. So after this, what you do is you get a blade or a skiving knife, a skiving knife like this, just to skive it out. The essence of skiving it is to reduce the height of the leather and to make it lay down smoothly. So you can see now. So this is what a skiving knife does. So you can see now. So go back to apply our gum, then you go back to the lining that we drew out initially. You apply your gum lightly, evenly on all surface. Then you do the same for the one you draw out on your lining, evenly on all surface. So you leave to dry a bit. Then you come back to the other strap that carries the buckle. So the ones that carries the buckle has the bulk of the folding and bulk of the work, because you would be pointing out where you have your buckle pin. So this is where you have the buckle pin. So once you draw that one out, take it to the punch. So you punch it. So after punching it, you repeat the same process for folding. If you look at it, the folding takes place at the midpoint of this. Then you come down again to mark out your folding point. So what we do now is we apply the gum just to hold it down lightly. Do the same thing. So you leave to dry for a while, then you come back to the other strap. Now it's dried. So what you'll be doing is you will lay it perfectly on it. This is for one of the straps. Then we come back here to make the foldings. Make the next folding too. So after making the next folding, the next thing is for us to do the same skiving. So now for people that doesn't have their skiving knife, you can just use your blade or your cutter, like something like this. So now we are done. So you can see here we have this place carries the buckle pin, it's longer, and this place that carries the normal pin, it's shorter. Why this one is longer is that you have to put another holder here, a ring that holds the strap. So what you will do is that you come out and you just cut something off. Let's say so you cut out. So this is the straight strap. So most times what I do is, if you don't know how the exact measurements will look like, this is your template, just make sure it can pass through it like this. So you try and measure what can actually pass through it freely, which is something like this. So it doesn't have a constant measurement, depends on the strap that you are using. So now if you look at it after dressing it, you can see, okay, it's going to contain two of the strap at the same time. So it's something like this. So what I do is that once you have this is going to work inside this. So you just have to put it inside. So you have two options. It's either you put it inside and gum it with it. Now you can see what I'm saying. So it can actually take the template too, like this. So now what you're going to do is that you're going to try and sew this together. So you can see now that after sewing it, I've placed it in. So you do the same thing, you apply gum. Apply gum evenly on both the main one and the lining. So you leave to dry. We come back to our strap. So here you either sew with your machine, or since we are trying to do this on our own without a sewing machine, so what we'll be doing is that you'll be using the normal hand sewing. So we'll go with the points. These I have is temporary points that I used for all the points, but for the sake of this video and for easy sewing for others, I'll be using this my normal punch for you so that you can just see how it works. So now, after punching for both sides, so we're going to stand our hand sewing. In this video, I will be doing a method I called double needle stitches. So how the double needle works is, you get your first needle first, you put it inside the thread. So you start, we already have our punch made, so you can see now. So why I call it double needle is that, so on the other end too, you add another needle, so you put your second needle on the other side. So you can see now that we have needles on the two sides. You can see this needle, this is the needle. So now this is how the double needle works. After, so you have two options. It's either you sew your first needle completely round like this. You can see we are having omissions like this, so that is for the first phase. So the second needle comes in to fill in those pieces like this. So it still forms like the normal machine stitch. You can see. So we keep sewing until we sew all around. We have this. So we continue. So now we are done with our sewing. So what you do now is that you just make sure you trim your lining round. So you can see this, and do the same for the so now you can see. So we are done preparing this. So what we are going to do now is to come for our normal polish. Just put your leather cream on it like we do in our subsequent videos. Wow, for the previous videos. Like I said, once you want to use your leather cream, you dab it the walls. So you rub it on the edges. Just for you to have a smooth edge. So you can get your lighter, so you can remove all excess here, all excess leather here from the edges. here we have a very smooth egg, so I won't bother using a sandpaper to smoothen it. So you can see, so we'll go back to all our accessories that we've kept, and if you actually want to use a new one, so what we're doing now is that we just have to you can clean. So it's simple, you just return everything. So now we return this. So we have this. So the same thing for this. Return this. So you see this now. So you can see now. You could do this before fixing it. Oh, sorry, I omitted that. So with this, you just make your punch. Now you can see